Joining us now, Tarun Tahiliani. He's made headlines by selling a 33% stake in his business to Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail. The two of them will also be launching a brand new brand. It's for premium ethnic wear for men at more accessible points. What does all of this mean? What's going on? Let's go across to Tarun Tahiliani to find out more. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're in the midst of a shoot, so we really, really appreciate it. My first question to you, Tarun Tahiliani, is why did you sell a 33% stake to the Aditya Birla Group? Just a couple of days back, we heard how they had announced a strategic tie-up with Sabyasachi and buying a stake. What's going on?
Well, obviously, Aditya Birla Group knows something that many people don't and are looking to really expand their portfolio. I've spent quite a few time, as you can imagine, with their CEO and top executives, and even Mr. Birla himself. And as you know, they built very, very successful premium brands in the Western wear category, Louis Philippe and Peter England and so on and so forth. Van Houston, they've gone to women's. And these are serious players now. And they felt that they had misjudged what happened in what would happen in what they call the Indian or the ethnic wear market, where they thought that maybe this would be in further decline. But as we all know, there's a huge resurgence of Indian craft, a love of being in Indian things that are so suited to our climate, body types, and our lifestyle, Imagine going to a Sangeet in a suit. How awful. I can't even imagine. And there have been very successful players in this space, only one or two that are national. So I think they're a little wary of the luxury space because they say we don't understand it, quite rightly so. And they do understand how to produce, to scale, to build the brand and to bring the product everywhere in the unified fashion. And that's what, to me, was the most attractive, super attractive thing. And I've always admired what they've done, both as Mr. Birla and the group. And so it was a discussion that started 2 years back in a random off-chance conversation with Mr. Birla, in fact. And slowly I started to meet people, and it took a long time to arrive at this. And I can say that I'm delighted. I've always been interested.
I'm sorry to interject you there. I just find it so interesting that you're telling me that this conversation actually began 2 years ago, because I will be candid enough to admit, Tarun Tahiliani, that to an outsider like most of us, we thought that maybe coronavirus had something to do with it, just because you're not seeing those big, lavish weddings anymore. And that's why, you've got the Birla Group, which is coming out, signing deals with you or with Sabyasachi or with Shantanu Nikhil. But you're saying this is actually a 2-year-old story.
I can't. Well, Shantanu Nikhil happened long before this happened, before Corona. And I can't speak for anybody else, but this exactly 2 years to the month in February is when we had this conversation briefly over, clothes. And then I met the CEO in September. And, we slowly, it takes a long time for people to understand each other, to understand where you're coming from. I had to understand what they wanted. And value system, because, if you're going to work and collaborate and be bonded with somebody, you'll better be working with the same value system. So the pandemic just delayed it a bit, In fact, in the pandemic, we had time to really spend talking, and also for them to understand if, in fact, I could work in the premium market, because everybody's a little wary of the kind of extravagance that goes into our existing line. And so we actually did about 30 samples to show them and ourselves what is possible. We work with the people who are their manufacturing experts, their factories, with new fabric vendors. It's a whole new world. I can't tell you how interesting it is. And for me personally, who dresses very simply and always have done very simple tailor things, to me, this is the ideal opportunity to bring a certain professionalism and finesse to the Indian ethnic market of Indian clothing, because I feel there's a giant undifferentiated product out there. And if people want simple, beautifully tailored, nice fabrics, things that you can layer up, things that you might have to go to a designer and no one has the patience to go to a tailor for anymore, I hope we're going to be addressing that fantastically. It's all built on the 30 years of work that I've done. It's just that it was too simple for the current market I service. And I needed it was a different ball game to produce, get the economies of scale and distribute it to the market that I will now address, which will also include people like me or Shakil or, it's not that it's going to go to someone who doesn't have a budget. It's an entirely fresh, fantastic offering.
So Tarun, you've told me how the Aditya Birla Group has anyway made a lot of waves when it comes to Western wear, and now you all want to do that for ethnic wear. And obviously for them, and the question should be to them, how they must be planning something large, right? Because if you look at the tie-ups. But what I want to understand from you is, how large is this market?
We all know how large the wedding market is. And wherever there's a bride, there's a groom. Wherever there's a sangeet, there's, a groom as well. And now, as you know, entire families want to dress either coordinated or just, if nothing else, they want to wear fresh things. People don't want to repeat things. And since sustainability is such an important thing now, my premise, even for the range that I do now, is that if you buy quality at any level, you're more likely to value it and to reuse it. Right now, the attitude is, oh my God, I'll just wear it once and, be done with it. No, we've got to integrate it back into our lifestyle. So it's not costume. It's as beautifully made as anything that you might buy at a Western brand or a Massimo Dutti or whoever you shop from, at whatever level. And we're going to be offering an equivalent product. The market is huge. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of crores, but of course, a lot of it is unorganized. Everywhere you go, every high street, every locality, you've got boutiques and stores and, few national players or regional players. It's a very big market. And then we have the whole NRI world. And for stuff that's simple, I think it'll spill out into, the surrounding countries of the Middle East as well, that people are likely to wear it.
And can you tell us about the new brand that you and the Birla Group will be launching? They did tell me that it's not going to be called Tarun Tahiliani. It's going to be priced more. It's going to be more accessible when it comes to price points. What does that mean? Tell us your plans.
Well, basically, it'll be a brand, a fresh brand name, because we want the luxury to be where it is. And the new brand name with Aditya Birla and Tarun Tahiliani. I mean, we're still working on the nomenclatures. But what this will be is it's got a very specific price point that starts with very mainstream. I mean, we really want you to not think twice about walking in. You want a kurta for 2,000 rupees. And then it goes up to about, let's say, possibly 60, 70,000. We're still configuring beautiful colors, amazingly cut clothes, a wide range of fabrics and styling, accessories, really to do with the man. We did think about women, but we're going to focus on men first and get this market. I've done similar clothes, perhaps in more expensive fabrics for years, but also now with their buying offices, we have access to fabrics A, we never had access to, B, at prices because of the economies of scale that we didn't even know were possible, and to tailor at top world-class factories within India who only really work for export to very select brands because they need the numbers, who will give us a fantastically made product. It's a simple, direct approach. The storytelling is going to be around what I do between now and then. It is to not just cater to your wedding needs, but for your needs for anything that you have festive. All of us Indian men now wear Indian clothes to any puja, the festivals. In fact, I'd always say at Diwali, which is the first big party I'd go to in, yesteryears before COVID, where everybody, you'd see them up to the summer dressed in Indian clothes, and nobody ever looked that good. And it wasn't over the top like being at a wedding. It was sheer elegance. It was magnificent. And I hope that we can bring this aesthetic and lifestyle more and more into our everyday lives. We live in the tropics. We have a different lifestyle. You might wear a short kurta with churidar jodhpurs. It's really to give men an Indian fashion statement. We're not going to be derivative of anything. It's work that I've done for years, looking at how Indians have dressed, looking at people in Kutch, looking at and developing modern patterns, and now taking it from linens to wonderful blends to all sorts of fabrics into an easy, breezy, super fashion look for men. That's the idea.
Tarun, can I ask you though for the price points? You've given us a great idea. but it's all very relative, and we use phrases like accessible and affordable.
Yes, yes.
You know,
So,
you can,
I mean, the idea...
it doesn't have to
the
be
idea
exactly
we're
that,
working about-
but the kind of range.
Yeah, the idea that we're working on, because unlike when I worked in the past, I'm stuck into a straight jacket, and it's got to be consumer facing. You're not dealing with the super rich, so where it doesn't matter if it's 2 lakhs, it becomes 4 lakhs because it's so beautiful, they buy us for it. We want to start at 1,500 rupees for a kurta, and then move up from there. Bandis from 2,000 to 3,000 rupees, and it's also going to be done where they're going to be stacked the merchandising, where you can buy something and get something this way that coordinates. You can stack it up. You can take the kurta and put a sherwani on top of it. We're working on a new way of doing things. Some will be in sets, but a lot will be in separates that people can really buy according to their need, like we do in Western clothing. I think we'll end at about 60,000 rupees because I'm keen to use some beautiful silk brocades and do things that are for grooms. But of course, it'll have some embroidery. It's not going to be this plastered look. It's really going to focus on elegance.
You're giving a big headline there, an elegant collection that would be by Tarun Tahiliani, a brand with the starting price for a kurta for 1,500 rupees. That certainly is very, very accessible. Great plan, which can also be scaled up, Tarun. Is it going to be for both the offline and online world?
Absolutely. I think we understand that today, being, in every digital medium is super important. We will do, and with a lot of men, once they know their size, men are comfortable shopping online. Because fits don't change that much. You'll know whether you're a regular or a slim fit, what your lengths are. These will have minimal alterations needed because, at stores like this, we'll only do lengths really and a bit of fitting. So men are comfortable doing that. If you have 3 bandis and you want to replace them, you don't need to go back to the store, you look online. We will be setting, it's a very aggressive retail plan. Up to 250 stores is the plan in 5 years. And of course, we'll be looking at how to reach the NRI markets, like I mentioned. So there's a lot to be done, and it's possible today.